Good evening. Welcome to Down South Football Podcast. Where Renard Williams in the building, man. Long time no see, long time no see. And got someone special in the house. I call him special. He's part of the himself. It's Mr. God. What's happening, Dave?
I'm a visitor now. You know what I mean?
I said I called you special. I was trying to give you some props, but you took it that way. You took it that way.
Oh no, my bad. I misunderstood. I misunderstood. That's all. That's all. I mean, I am special. I'm special in a lot of different ways.
Well, I was trying to, trying to pump you up a little bit. I was trying to put you on a pedestal, Dave. You know what I'm saying?
No, 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 no. I'm okay. I'm okay.
You don't want me to put on a pedestal?
Don't put it in no person.
Okay. Well, he don't like to be put on that way, so I'll just say, what's going on, people? I know it's been a minute, but we in the building, man. But Dave, how you been, man? How you been?
I been. Oh yeah. Update. I had a couple
Okay.
updates. First thing is finally made the church.
What? Oh yeah. I forgot we talked about that. We talked about that. Yeah.
One week I actually went. Last week I kind of slept in a little later than normal, so I went virtually.
Also, you
Last week.
finally went virtually.
Yeah, I know I struggled there, but there and then next thing I got we got shot to little Dave. Season was still going last time we did a show, so they finished their season up.
Right.
So he'll be graduating in the spring. Got at least one more year eligibility. Not sure where that's gonna land at, but he could land back where he was. He could land somewhere else. So we just trying to see. So I mean, other than that, man, I've been good.
Well, it's good, man. We've had some ups and some downs of some things, and just trying to get back on here. But all that hopefully will be solved. Happy to be back with everyone, and we've had some interesting. Good God, we've had some great football weekends. We've had some great football wins since there, but people have just watched the rankings be released. And if you on here tonight, we got a special guest that's gonna come on here in a little while. So some of y'all should be entertained to ask some questions too, or whatever. But hey, it's our boy up in the house.
What up, Jared?
What's up, Jared? Man, hope everything's good with you, bruh. Mr. J Flat. What's up? What's up, dude?
What's up, Jay?
Hope everybody doing all right, man. But you know, y'all want to talk about these rankings a little bit. Uh it sure left got interesting. I will tell you that. Moving on from where we been. You on mute.
Oh my bad. Did they get interesting or was it kind of what we kind of figured? But we still got another week. We still got another week. We got this will all be in stone in a couple days.
Sunday. Sunday morning.
Sunday
Most
morning.
people most people be at church.
I'll
Look, I
be at
think
church.
I think they get released around 11. That's
Yeah.
the thing about it. Jared says he said just my Tar Heels embarrassed me again. Yeah, yeah, it's been a rough year. It's been a rough year for your Tar Heel, Jared. I will say that. I will say that. What hold on, what's it say? He said, Renard, I hate you was right about it.
C. Smith. Yeah.
They did have a good season. And talking about updates, speaking of that, Jared, before we move on a little bit further, got a chance to go to the SEAC conference championship game. Got a chance to see my brother, Teddy Keaton, head coach of Clark. They came up short. Miles is tough. Miles had tough defense. Miles made the playoffs, won the first game, played the number one seed. Unfortunately, they did get put out. But hey, they were well deserving. Both teams were well deserving of everything that they did. I will say that. And of course, we got the SWAC championship this weekend. We got Southern and Jackson State. I swear, I feel like that's the matchup every time. That's the SWAC championship. But hey,
Man, yeah.
but that's perfectly fine. That's good. That's good. Didn't go how I want. But Dave, before we go any further, how you feel about your news?
Hey man, I am ecstatic. I, this has been this year right here. I have predicted more right stuff this season than ever before. I
True.
told you it was gonna happen. I said a couple. Well, what was it? About a month ago, roughly.
Hmm.
The Magic City Classic. He couldn't lose that game. Now that he stay employed. That was his only hope of getting another year. So I mean, I was right about that. I was right about the 3 losses for Bama. I was right
Mm-hmm.
about that. Actually, they will end with 4, but I digress. But yeah, so it's been a done. I mean, hey man, I've been rolling.
Well, there's only one problem with what you did, though, right?
What was that?
You ain't put it. You ain't put your mouth in the right place.
You're right. It should have been in Vegas.
you
So
should.
so
You,
so it don't really all that don't really mean nothing. I mean,
don't. Hey, Dave. Don't feel sorry for him. I've hit Vegas for you the past couple of weeks. Don't worry about it. I've hit him up a little bit. I've touched him.
man, I've had
They
a terrible betting season,
they
gambling
they
season.
they felt
Your presence, your
my
aura.
presence. Yes, I've touched him a couple of times. Not the way I want to touch him.
Yeah, I think I'm going with just straight parlays next year. Next year, I'm not fooling with no more football boys. I'm done with that life. If I'm gonna throw away $40, $50 a week, then so be it.
I mean, I get it. I get it. I get it. But moving on, I do want to go ahead and say, since you did get a chance to miss it, um, let me show you what you missed this time. Okay, let's see if we can get it up here. All right, this is I like the graphic. I really like the graphic that I think it's from I think it was Ross Dellinger that put this out,
Mm-hmm.
1 or 2 or something like that. But for us, where we are, the debate was the three SEC teams, which was Ole Miss, South Carolina, and Alabama. The three lost teams. That's what everybody just kept running their mouth about, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Alabama slides in at 11, and instead of, I think Ole Miss was 13, and I think South Carolina was 15.
Mm-hmm.
Um, then you got um, you got a couple other things with like Ohio State dropped a little bit down. They are 8, and then they got Tennessee at 9. Then Notre Dame kind of stayed the same. Notre Dame and Penn State 6 and 5, and then Indiana still hanging in there at 10. And then you got the 4 quote unquote projected. I have to use the word projected until after this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
The 4 conference champions. You got Rose Bowl, of course. You got Oregon. Then you got Texas. Then you got they predicting SMU to win. They just taking the highest ranked person, and again they got Boise State.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why they have Boise State is because of the fact that they feel like the Mountain West, not feel like, but Mountain West will be higher ranked than the conference champion, which is projected, quote unquote, to be Arizona. Now, before we go any further, I would really like to
Arizona,
know.
Arizona State.
Yes, sorry, Sun Devils, Kenny Dillingham doing a great job. Before we go any further, I would like to get your, because you didn't get to see the show, I'd like to get your reaction to where we are right now.
Well, I was talking to Jay Will earlier, and I had wrote some stuff down. My projections were I figured we would get 4 Big 10. We were gonna get Oregon, and I'm reading off my paper. I said we'll get Oregon, Penn State, Ohio State, Indiana. SEC, I said Texas, UGA, Tennessee. Boise, Group of Five. The Big 12 champion, Notre Dame, ACC. And as you can see, I circled the number 1 on there. Right? You see number 1?
Okay, I'll see that. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Because that left one more team. So here was my thesis. I felt like if SMU wins out, Bama, I think if you got to choose between Alabama, Ole Miss, and South Carolina, Bama's going to go. I figured the only way this gets a little sticky
Mm-hmm.
is if Clemson wins. And here's why. Because then you'll be looking at a 2-loss SMU, who their 2 losses would have been to a ACC champion and probably a third place Big 12 team. So which was BYU. So who has the better losses? Who has the best win? So that's my only thing. I think that Bama is in if SMU wins. If SMU loses, it's going to be a controversy. But I still think if they have to choose between Bama and the SMU, they'll choose Bama and screw SMU. Or I don't want to say screw, but yeah, I think that's the route they would go. So that was
Well,
my
yeah,
synopsis that I talked about it about. That's about 10 this morning when I wrote them notes.
yeah. I think the biggest thing, I mean, I will keep it straight to what I've seen from Ward Manuel in the committee, and just listening and having a chance to listen to him talk afterwards. It seems more and more like you don't your losses have it's like your losses impresses you more than your wins. And what I mean by that is that it's all about like just listen to them talk. It's kind of like they give credit more. They give this committee. And I'm emphasis on this committee seems to give more credit for your tough losses
Mm-hmm.
than anything else. But it's also I think what they are caught in is that truth be told, and I'm gonna be honest about this, I think they are struggling with the 12. And what I mean by that is that I think it came down to really if it was like a true format with like, well, we picking, they'd be like, well, we only pick 10 teams.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like if they only had to pick 10 teams, then the 12th one would they wouldn't even pick it. And so it like remember when we talked about this in like August, September, and the first thing I said was that the playoff is gonna go how the rest of the nation go. And that's the whole thing. Reason why people are like, I can't be like people like I can't believe we're discussing 3 lost 10. Can this 3 lost 10? Can we discussing 3 lost 10? Well, you're discussing 3 lost 10s because of the fact of that's how the nation has gone,
Right.
and that's where they that's where they are, and it's like somebody has to be that basically that final seed because I don't count the 12th. Someone has to be that final seed, and then when you compare the resumes of everybody to seem to be what they're doing, is like who else you gonna put in there? Just like what you're saying. So
Right.
I
I
think
mean,
we agree with what you're saying. It's like, yeah, it's like between let me compare A and B and not like the whole, oh, we are the best 12. No, bro, we're not in that part where we're saying the best 12. They're just saying like this is where we at right now.
and you also have to consider the brand, the revenue factor. If it's ever a toss up between a big brand school and maybe a lower brand school, the big brand school probably going to win it because a couple reasons. They probably playing against bigger brands, right? So that's one thing. So they already figured that that a 3 loss SEC team would be better than a 2 loss ACC, or let's just say a SMU, which is all subjective, right? At the end of the day, because you never get to play it out on the field. So if they squeeze SMU, so be it. But if I'm SMU, they got to win, which I really think I really think they're going to win. I think they're really better than a lot of people getting them credit for. Um,
Rhett
I really
Lashley
think
got
they're
them
going to win.
right. Rhett Lashley got them right. I will
Yeah,
say
I
that.
think I really think they are. So,
If you
like
were
I said, I was just ready for 2024. I've been ready for 2024 for last since they announced it was last year, whenever. But I think we got some good stuff cooking, and I'm not mad if Bama make it. That's fine. It's a good brand. I would love to see Bama on the road. I wish it wasn't Notre Dame because they tend to own them.
okay,
But
before you go further, let me ask you this question because listening to Ward Manuel tonight, he's basically saying that like just listen to what he's saying. He's like 9, 10, 11, 12, 9, 10, 11 seems to be quote unquote set because their season is done.
correct.
And it's like, do you trust? And me, I had to go watch Notre Dame. Like the defense is legit. Marcus Freeman got the defense right. Do you trust Notre Dame
Absolutely
enough?
not. Absolutely not.
You talk about the brand, but is it the brand that you don't trust from past experiences, or are you just talking about particularly this team?
No, for past experiences, I think when I look at the eye test, to me, um, I would roll Notre Dame. I think they
Mm-hmm.
got after the athletes. They play defense that's really consistent. Bama's been up and down, right? So you never know what Bama's going to show up, which one is going to be. Then you got to go to South Bend,
Got to
weather
go to
change.
South Bend. You got to deal
So
with the weather.
it all leads to Notre Dame, but hey, the only way to predict future events is based off of past results, right? So we've seen this before. So I don't know. If it's Notre Dame, I never get my hopes up too high for them winning something like this. But it'll be interesting though. I love to see it.
Yeah, and if you're an Alabama fan, you like the path that you would go on. Like you said, judging off past history, which would be, Notre Dame, and then I think it would be probably Penn State. I can't remember. I'm looking at it this way now.
It'll probably be Notre
Not
Dame,
Notre or SMU probably.
SMU.
Yeah, unless that's Clemson. But either way, you would have to like your chances.
Yeah, because honestly, they won't see it unless they wouldn't see a Big Ten team at all. Um, no, they wouldn't see a Big Ten team.
Now, unless it's excuse me, Ohio State or Oregon, and that'll be, I'm just predicting on that side right here. You wouldn't see that.
No, you
You
wouldn't see
just
it at all.
100% off.
Yeah,
You just
you wouldn't see it
you
to
wouldn't see
championship.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's just what it is. But you know, are you in favor before we move on a little bit from the playoff, just a little bit? Are you in favor of keeping the conference championships? Because you got a lot of complaining and moaning about the
Oh
conference
no.
championships.
I think you have to reward conference champions. Power Five football was really the only entity that in any sport that doesn't really hadn't traditionally rewarded their conference champion, right? So, I mean, you definitely have to keep that. The only change that I would make, I would have to look hard at this 12th seed, and I get it in theory. I get it because in order for you to be a 12th seed, you have to be a conference champion,
Right.
and you're going to be the lowest ranked conference champion, which means that if you're not ranked in on the rankings in 4, then you're gonna probably drop to 12. So I get it in theory, but I don't believe even if I'm the fifth lowest, right? I feel like I'm penalized because now I gotta play the next highest. If they're not in the 4, they're gonna be the highest of the highest teams that I can play, and I gotta go on the road. But I won my conference. They did. So I think that they may adjust as far as the home and away. I think that you should make that a 5 slot if you're going to talk about conference champion. But I understand what they're saying because they're looking at, probably strength of schedule, things like this. And then on a normal year, a Boise State wouldn't be ranked this high, right? So it would normally work out. But you have an anomaly. Now, here's a funny thing: where if Boise win and if Boise lose and then Tulane win, then what?
But didn't Tulane just get blasted? Did they just lose?
I think they played in the conference championship against Army.
Yes.
Right.
But I
So
think it's the ranking though.
it's the highest ranking conference champ. So
Correct.
if Boise State lose, then Tulane will be the highest ranked group of 5 champion.
But if Boise State lose, they will lose to God dog it. Why is the name on
What's
the
it?
tip of my tongue?
Is it UNLV?
Yes, and I think UNLV is 22. Well, I think they moved up a little bit. I have to go back and look and see
Yeah,
where
I
they.
think it will be two. I think it will by any means that will flip that Arizona State would change. They
Yeah,
were
yeah, yeah,
24. So
yeah.
it's going to be interesting, man. You got to play every week.
Well, you got to play every week, and speaking playing every week, tomorrow is one of my favorite days. It's National Signing Day. Excuse me, let me say this right. Early National Signing Day, and with early National Signing Day, to me, it's become the biggest signing day, of course, because you have so many people that can come in and do what they need to do, enroll early, and all the craziness that we got going on. If y'all on here, we got a special guest that's coming in here. We got a friend of our show, man, just a great overall dude that's joining us right now, Mr. John Garcia. Mr.
Fellas,
Garcia, how you doing, sir?
good to be with you. Doing well.
I didn't even take the time. I was like, we're not gonna advertise this. We're gonna see who the real ones are gonna be tuning into us or not. And
I like it.
they get to see, they get to talk to the man. How's everything going on with recruiting for you and everything? I know that's a dumb question the night before signing day, but
Yeah, it's a lot of prep, as you guys know. The flips are crazy. It's been I think earlier this afternoon, so it's December 3rd, right? November just broke some decommitment record that we've been tracking. As long as we've been tracking it, it was like 60 something kids.
Right.
Well, in the first 2.5 days of December, we're near 40 decommitments just in the last 2.5 days. So yeah, a lot of kids changing their mind, a lot of offers on the table, newly, both scholarship and NIL, of course. So it's a busy time, but it's a fun time, right? Because we get to see, these kids' dreams come true. And we get to see the hope reignited into college football, even though the regular season just ended.
Gotcha. Now I just want to ask you one. I'm gonna ask you a football question first. How have you been liking the playoffs so far? Like how do you feel like it?
Yeah, it to me it's simple. Like if you want to involve the human element, then you cannot rely on the numbers. It's one or the other. Everyone hated the BCS because it was an algorithm. It was pure mathematical numbers, all to a decimal point, one team versus the next. So we got rid of that. Okay, let's go 14 playoff, all human, pure rankings. These are the best 4 teams. Okay, everyone mostly, understood that, but it wasn't enough, right? So now we've got 12, and sure enough, first year of it, we've got what? Legitimately 4, 5, 6 different teams that look like they should have a shot at that last spot. And if it's just to see, hey, who's gonna be the best matchup for Notre Dame, because that's right now what it looks like. Alabama going to Notre Dame. If SMU wins, of course, because if Clemson wins, then Clemson goes and SMU probably takes that last spot. But that's a whole different scenario. So right now it looked like they were trying to figure out what is the best matchup for Notre Dame. And, that logo against the Irish logo, I mean, it's hard to go against if you want to involve the human element. So this is what people wanted, win, lose, or draw. We can say that about a lot of things in the last couple of weeks and months. This is what the people say they wanted. So now you have to live with that. And when it comes down to it, 10-2 versus 9-3 doesn't matter like it would with the computer, like it would in other metrics, because you want human beings involved in the process. So as long as that is the case, the blue bloods, the biggest markets, the biggest logos, the programs with the highest upside, and you can judge that on the field or monetarily or a combination of both, they're gonna get the benefit of the doubt. It's something we saw in the 14 playoff, and of course we're seeing it already with the 12 team.
I 100% agree with you. And I think I've seen several articles on the fact that like people were talking about, and I even heard Josh Pate talking about it, and we've kind of been in the same feeling. It's like you do get to 12, but you give more room for other people to make more mistakes than not to just judge them off of that one loss. It gives someone else a chance to come in, but like you said, you're talking about, well, oh, you got this brand, you got this. And the probably reason why they want to go from 12 to 16 now. It's like they want to go to 16, which is supposed to happen in the next couple of years. I'm like, okay, I think 16 is probably your max. Let's stop.
Well, let me grind me here. First of all, John, how you doing, man?
Go ahead.
I'm doing well. Good to be on with you guys.
Hey man, first of all, man, you're looking good, man. Looking real Miami-ish. Looking like you're ready to go hang out with Khaled or something, man. You're looking good, man.
I am from Miami, so I'll take that as a compliment.
I know it. Well, man, but like I was telling Renard, I'm enjoying the 12. And honestly, I would not mind them expanding it to 16. Maybe you have a wild card round or whatever it is. because this is the only time that we've actually had something that looks like a true champion. And I talk about it all the time. This Power Five football was never really made constructionally for a champion because think about the name of it. It's the FBS, right? Football Bowl Series. It was all about the bowls, right? I mean, it was a point in time where, heck, John, you coaching at USC, Renard coaching at Penn State. Well, heck, I don't really like Renard that much. USC, you the national champion.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? it was a time. That's what.
Yeah, the outlets just named their own champion. Yeah,
exactly.
right.
Exactly. So I mean, you get coaches poll, AP, all kind of other stuff. So, I'm liking where we are, even if they expand it. I mean, that would kill the talk with the South Carolina, the Miami, or whatever. Tell you what, if South Carolina is better than Miami, tell you what you do: roll the ball out there, let them play their way in, right? So, and we don't have to worry about it. So, I mean, I like where we are. But if I have a question for you, because I don't really want to make this a interview, I want you, really part of the show like you always are. But I do have one question. I heard you talk about all the decommitments. So one thing about decommitments that I've learned is that they could be announced as decommitments, or the college can kind of decommit from them, but they're going to call it a decommitment, right?
Right.
So are you seeing it where it's more of the student athlete decommitted from the school, or is it still like kind of how it used to be, where maybe some schools are pulled off of a kid, or a mixture of both?
Yeah, it's a mix. It's a mix of both. Look, there's no doubt that if a school thought they were done and all of a sudden a player very high on the board says, hey, this number is okay for me, you got to do what you got to do. I'm not going to name names, but I know of a blue chip defensive back
I will
committed in the SEC that, or two, actually I know two of them that were really gung-ho for School A, and School A all cycle was in.
Right.
But in the last few weeks, both the on-field product and the NIL ceiling, let's call it, grew, right? The price grew. So now that school had a higher ceiling at that position. They're both safeties. So they took a much, more highly thought of safety, and they're probably going to grab another one. So those two guys who were strung along this entire time now don't have a spot at that school.
Wow.
And they're going to be okay. They're still going to be, scholarship guys and all that, but it absolutely is happening is my point. And that's a scenario that every school is at least thinking about right now, especially on the higher end. Mm-hmm. If you're in the top 10, 15, 20 of the rankings, you've got a big class, you've got a good class, and you're probably squeezing out that last spot or two to figure out if it's worth it. Do we save that spot for the portal? All of those decisions. So sometimes that last spot, the kid you kick out is the one who's been committed, silently or otherwise. And that's just the business end of football. And that's, again, those are some of the consequences of what we wanted. We want to treat everyone more professionally. Then that's the other side of it, just like we see at the NFL level.
Now,
go ahead, Dave. This
is the last thing I want you to come that I have for you to come in on right now. But I heard interview, and I mean I had the splits right at the number right. I talked about we was talking with Coach Prime with Dion. He was talking about why he didn't recruit a whole bunch of freshmen, because he's like, after one season, heck, you might be good to get half of them back or something to that effect. So in other words, his split is where he may not recruit but maybe 7 to 10 freshmen, something in there. But he's like the guys that he recruited are guys that he feels like they can come in and play right then. So are you seeing the trend in college now? What's kind of the split between portal and true freshmen? Because we talked years ago, like during the COVID time, we knew it was going to affect eventually down the line. So over the years, as I hadn't talked to you in a while, you've been down there with DJ Khaled. So so what over the last few years since we've been kind of apart, I mean, what's the trend or the split that you've seen with portal to freshmen?
I think a lot of teams are taking it year by year. Like you said, Colorado was very clear, 85% portal and the rest for just truly elite instant impact high school players. And they're still going for that type of player, but the numbers have grown, and I think part of the reason is because you saw so much on-field success there, and there's now more of a realistic thought that he's going to stay there. I mean, it's not a done deal. Nothing is. But in the last 6 weeks, it's felt a lot more realistic that Prime is actually going to stick it out at Colorado beyond his children being on the team, which was a big unknown going into this year. So I think that combination really opened the door for more elite recruits. And look, and let's be honest, the on-field success, the NIL success, all of that, the brand success has created more interest. More kids are initiating with Colorado. They're one of the few schools that they don't have to go find a kid. Kids are finding them, Julian Lewis committing there was a big domino. We see the IMG effect. They just flipped an Ohio State commitment and an Oklahoma State commitment. They might get another guy or two from IMG tomorrow. There's a desire for kids to be there because Prime will be there, they think, and because right now, I mean, that's a hot program that recruits itself. So they've changed their approach, I think, because of the circumstances. Now, I think you've seen a much more consistent path with, some of the other blue bloods, Ohio State, heavy high school, fill out in the portal for some key spots that they see as they see fit. Ole Miss, more 50-50. Right. Smaller numbers in high school, try to crush it in the portal. Same thing down here at Miami. I think you see a little bit more reliance on volume and the portal simultaneously. So it's still kind of a moving target for a lot of schools. But you do see a drastic change if there's something so obvious that does change, like what we said with Coach Prime in Colorado. And the other scenario is a team that, has a first-year staff that worked. You think of like an Arizona State, a program like that. Now all of a sudden, they've got a lot of room to add high volume in both high school and the portal. So I think that and the raise of the scholarship limit could push to more high school volume just in general. And we're seeing kids getting, again, a lot of scholarship offers in the last 24 hours that are expected to sign tomorrow. So I do think that teams are a little bit less conservative with those scholarships. One, because the portal's crazy and we don't know what's coming. And two, because it's a year-to-year deal now. It's not, hey, I'm going to bring in this, 6'7" skinny offensive tackle, and man, in 3 years, that kid's going to be ready to roll. Like that, unfortunately, is really not a part of the game. And you could understand that because these coaches aren't getting even 3 or 4 years. It's like 18 months to 2 years is kind of the new window where it's like you're either building this roster or you're winning. It's got to be one of the two. If it's neither, you're out of there. And that's, I think, part of the reason why, again, the portal and these instant impact freshmen have both been, equally important. And you're seeing that sort of moving target as these teams try to hit that mark.
Right. That's a different conversation that part of, and we'll probably kick that more to the off season that we want to have. Because if you look at our page and stuff, like we posted so much about like the House versus the NCAA case and everything that's been going on with it, with the limits and stuff. And I get it. It's not for most people. They don't like to consume those things, but I'm like, we try to tell them like, hey, a lot of these things are changing that you don't really even know what's changing. And
you better try. You better try to learn because it's not going the other way. So.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
Definitely not. But we want to have a bigger conversation on that. But yeah, the House stuff is crazy. But I will want to ask this question is, what team do you see tomorrow like having a real surprising great day? Maybe not surprising, but having a great day. Like folks are gonna be talking about like, wow. I mean, we know what Florida's been doing lately.
Yeah.
Know what a lot. I mean, good God Almighty, I'm trying to figure out, do they still have any scholarships left? I mean, a lot of other stuff, and we seeing, of course, everybody knows the Bryce Underwood story, and everybody knows about what's going on with NIL. And I know personally there's some last minute offers being made right now to a lot of the numbers going up for a lot of these kids, and they will go to bed at night and then make the final decisions. But what other teams do you think is going to be, the talk of early signing day tomorrow? The start of, I should say, the start of.
Yeah, I think 3 teams that should have a really nice 24 hours are teams that, like you said, are very comfortable in the NIL space. And they've already trended to a degree. I think Michigan is rolling. They've unlocked something that nobody really saw coming.
Right.
And again, you combine it with the Ohio State win and the belief that, hey, this is a bump in the road. Everything's going to, fall back the right way. I think they're going to finish really strong. They actually flipped a, 5-star Auburn commit today, and they're not done on that front. I think Oregon, another program that has picked up a couple kids in the last few days, they're going to pick up 2 or 3 more over the next 24 hours. Again, no surprise there. And some of these wins will be holding on to guys for Oregon, holding on to Dallas Wilson, big time wide receiver as Florida and Miami try to flip them. Something like that, to me, qualifies as a big win. Ohio State trying to hold on to Naeem Offord as Auburn, comes calling. I think that would be considered a big win for the Buckeyes. And then the third school is Texas, the school that it's like every time you look up, Texas is either winning a recruiting battle or finishing second for another kid. So it's meant a lot of commitments and decommitments and late pushes. I think Texas is going to fall forward in a really nice way tomorrow. I think they could flip Michael Fasusi, 5-star offensive lineman from Oklahoma, and finish with a couple other, really highly rated guys. And again, holding on to some that others want, like a Myron Charles, a big-time pass rusher from Florida. So I think those 3 teams will trend up beyond the obvious. Georgia's going to have a shot for number 1. Ohio State's there right now. And we know Florida's not done. That's for sure.
They are definitely not done. And I saw a couple kids, they've actually have come out and said that they're going to delay their announcements. I think we're probably going to see a little bit more than that because now we're dealing with not just feelings and emotions, but these kids are talking about, like you said, NIL deals. They're talking about, all that kind of stuff. It's like that. It's like some of these people that just have the money to say, like, hey, kid, we're going to offer you this 6 figures as long as you need to come. We'll go 1, 2, 3. We'll go high as we need to go. And it kind of makes the decision a little bit different. That's just kind of what it feels like. Are you getting that same sense out there, or what's that's going on with a lot of kids, or you think most of them are just going to let it go tomorrow?
Yeah, I agree with you. I know I was talking to an assistant at a school that I may or may not have named already that basically said, we're not worried about the summer officials, the beginning of the season. We don't care about that. We're going to come in October, November, and December and say, hey, these are the figures we got, take it or leave it. And they're going to be high, right? So I think that is going to create a lot of angst tomorrow. And that happens all cycle for sure. But obviously it's magnified on signing day, especially in this era. And could you blame these kids? You have an opportunity to change your life with this offer, but then this offer, you can change your whole family's lives. It's really hard to go against that, even if your heart, your mind, everything is set on the other school. It really is. Again, it's a business decision. That used to mean I'm the local kid, I'm staying, loyal to my school because I grew up wanting to play for them. But now business decision means like I'm following the money because I kind of have to. I owe it to whoever, whether it's yourself, your family, whoever it is. And all of that, we're all adults. That's all understandable. We all do the same thing to a degree.
And you have to take that because you don't know what lies ahead for you, right? So if I take a low ball offer, so to speak, for loyalty, 2 years down the road, I tear my Achilles or whatever the case may happen. Injuries happen, right? Now I'm stuck. So I get it, man. It makes sense to me.
Dave, you got another question, very quick?
What did I have? I had something on my mind, but I can't remember. I'm good. I'll try to think. It'll come back to me in a minute.
I sure will. I want to ask John personally because I mean we talked, but at the same time, have you been amazed by the number that you might have heard? You was like, oh yeah, I mean I hear this particular, in the range for certain high end prospects, but you're like, well, come on, man. Like, seriously, are we? And I'm not talking about Bryce Underwood because to me that was too public. I'm talking about the ones that people have no idea about. Because I know I've heard of some, and everybody now is the big internet thing is to just say, "Oh, I heard he got $3 million to sign."
Right,
it's like,
right.
no, that's not necessarily true. But is there a number you've actually heard that's like, wow, like I really can't believe that kid is really getting this or might get this particular number?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my gosh, all the time. And it works both ways too, because on one side, obviously the ball is in the school's court, right? Their collective, whoever's handling all this stuff, it's in their court, right? Because these are big time promises that if you don't fulfill, you got a lot going on, and you're gonna have a lot of issues. But on the other side, where it really trips me out is when schools are pretty generous and a prospect will hear, just like you said, a prospect will hear, well, this is a good offer, but I heard you guys offered this player this. And now they're negotiating through rumors, which is never a good idea.
Never.
So I've heard just as much of crazy offers from the school. I've heard just as much of crazy negotiations going on where things are settled and then all of a sudden they're not because of something else, something external, something they saw on Twitter or social or whatever it is. And that's really where you start to say this thing really is a slippery slope. And you start as a journalist, you're like, I mean, I'm asking so many questions, like what adult is allowing you to do this,
Right.
or what adult is pushing you to do this?
That was going to be my next question, was my comment, I guess, not question, but this seems to be kind of almost on a professional level to where, hey, if I know that John has gotten X amount of numbers and we play the same position, right? So now the market has gone up because what you paid John in the class of 2025, guess what? Yeah, 2026, I might need to get a little bit more than what John got. So I mean, like who's going to be kind of advising these kids? Because if I don't know any better and this number just sounds good to me because my son is going here, I could buy a new XYZ, but your son might really be getting screwed. So I wonder in the future what type of protection, or it's almost like professional sports. It really is. It's kind of heading that way in a sense. What kind of protection are they going to have? I mean, heck,
we do.
Yeah, I mean, there's agents, there's financial advisors, lawyers, the whole deal, really. It just comes down to, again, just like the basic knowledge of the recruiting game. Schools used to manipulate parents because they didn't know what the recruiting game was, right? Yes. So they would basically just be able to lie to them or play coy with them until they had to make a choice. You're seeing the same things with these NIL offers, but obviously as time has gone on now, certain states have allowed more flexibility from the high school levels to where they can profit in high school. So if you're in Louisiana, Texas, California, now Florida, DC, however many states it is, you can now have legitimate representation for all of these conversations. So not only does that drive the price up naturally, but it protects you if you have the right counsel around you. But 100%, Dave, it's not every kid. It's not even half of every amount of kids. I mean, it's a smaller group right now. And until they regulate it, which we'll see in July, like you all were talking about with that bigger conversation, if they regulate it and it becomes public knowledge, that'll change everything. But until that point, yeah, it's really a case by case deal, and it's wild, as you can imagine, and that's only with what we know. So imagine actually being in these rooms and trying to figure out, man, like how many great players missed out on X because of somebody else's decision, somebody else's choice. Absolutely. So unfortunately, that is the downside of so much money being involved is you're seeing guys adults latch on to kids. I mean, the youth league, middle school. I mean, it's like it's getting bad. We're getting emails for kids in 2031. It's crazy.
They were latching on when it was no money, right?
Right.
No legal money, right? They were latching on it. So imagine now. Renal, we got a good question in the chat too.
We do?
Yeah, we got a good question in the chat for John.
Okay, we'll stop right there. It says, John, with these new transfer portal rules and NIL deals, would you say the days of multiple big time players on the same depth chart is over? Like 2001 Miami, Clinton Portis and Willis. McGee on the same depth chart.
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, look, those days are over. In terms of, I mean, that might be the greatest team of all time. So I mean, Frank Gore sitting behind Clinton Portis and Willis McGahee.
We're done.
That's done. I mean, even the I think of the Alabama cycle. What was it? 20. I'm getting old.
You talking with Judy and
the running backs. They signed Derrick Henry, Alvin Kamara, Alti Tenpenny, and Tyron Jones.
Yes,
RIP to Alti, all in the same year. 4 guys that were probably all ranked in the top 150 in the country, and at running back top 10. 4 top 10 running back. I mean, something like that wouldn't even happen. Teams are struggling to get 2 good quarterbacks, and you used to be able to get 2 different quarterbacks and sign them because they had different styles, right? So, like, to keep it with Bama, you signed Tua and Mac Jones, like 2 different styles, because they knew, okay, well, one of us will win it out, and the other one might hang out and be there on the back end, which Mac Jones did, and it worked out for all of them. But those days are gone. I mean, even to be a guy who sits 1 year with 5 stars next to his name, just that can send you off. I mean, Micah Hudson just left Texas Tech after a few months, and he was playing. He wasn't getting a lot of run, but he was in the rotation. But he wasn't get what Ryan Williams is getting, and Jeremiah Smith and Cam Coleman and all these other freshman receivers. You're looking around, right? They say, hey, those guys got 50 catches. I have 12. What's up with that? So even getting on the field is not a guarantee to keep an elite prospect. You truly have to feature some of these guys pretty much out of the gate. So yeah, not only are the days of stacking that kind of talent gone, you've got to feed that talent while you got it, because they'll shut it down mid-season now.
Yeah, they will. I mean, I don't know how you can control that. I mean, I don't know. I heard someone use a phrase that I haven't heard in the same sentence as NIL, which was like non-compete.
Yes.
I overheard that. I was watching something today. So I think they're looking into some type of regulation for, hey, because we are giving you this XYZ money, you may have a non-compete clause where you just can't just up and just dip out like that. So I don't know. Like you said, it's going to come later in that whole other thing that's coming down the pipeline. So it's interesting. That is interesting because you can't satisfy everybody. Everybody's not going to be happy. So at the end of the day,
that's the biggest reason for the House versus NCAA case. All the stuff that, I mean, we put it out on our page and people are not going to read it. I get it. They're not going to read all that stuff, but they're not going to read everything that goes down with the scholarship that goes up, not just with football, but all the other sports. And, the Olympic sports that's being canceled at a lot of different schools, but that's the reason for the salary cap. I'm just going to call it what it is. That's the reason for the quote unquote $22 million per school is we got to rein is in somewhere. Now, does that mean that people won't get outside deals? No. They can say what they want to say because people going to find ways to move money and do whatever. But that's the biggest part of it that I keep hearing that people keep talking about is they want that regulation. They want that salary cap to, like you said, like John is saying, you got kids right now who's, I'll just say it. I mean, they're getting $500,000. Okay. But they want that number to be $1 million. And you're going to have these people that's so desperate to do it. It's like, yeah, we're going to give it to them. Yeah, we're going to give it to them. It's like, but you got to have some type of regulation to hold it.
Because if that's just business, right? In business,
right?
if I know that I'm gonna bring Renard on or John on for $500,000, so we're gonna sign the contract. So John, you're gonna be here with me for $500,000, and then now you can just breach the contract mid-year, right? Or it's no rig. I mean, I don't know the in and outs, and I may be talking not 100% truthfully, but it seems like, hey, if I give you a payment, you can break the contract, breach the contract mid-year, then now you go in contract with another school, and heck, you can potentially do the same thing with them. But I'm left high and dry. I can't get my money back.
Hey, Quinn Ewers was at Ohio State how long?
Long enough to get his money.
He made over $1 million at least, right?
Right.
And he was the third guy, and he said, "Hey, look, I didn't think it was going to be like that, so now I'm out." Even though he skipped a year of high school to do it, and everyone knew he wasn't going to, see the field at the time. So
he literally skipped a year for high school.
One of the best
go to Ohio to do it.
One of the best business moves I've ever seen.
That's going to be the rule, right? The Quinn Ewers rule.
Hey, go.
He's the guy.
Skip my senior year. Go get paid. Well, I know I'm not gonna start there. Okay, well, I don't want to go there to get paid. I get this, and then now I'm gonna go down here.
I'm gonna go back to where I wanted to go.
Right back to Texas.
Right.
Yep.
It's like that. It just makes perfect sense.
Yeah. So how do you got to do something about that, and this will be the next step. It won't be perfect, but you had to do something. You had to do something. So we'll see. So I mean, these players can enjoy it for the next few months, and tomorrow will be a big part of that. But it can and probably will change. But for now, wide open. The Quinn Ewers rule is not in effect.
Absolutely. If I can give you $500,000, then damn it, I can tell you you need to fulfill this 3-year contract.
And that's the part where, and I know we're getting a little bit deeper and getting off of the recruiting part, but that's the part where people are talking about the employees, about them becoming employees and doing this and doing that and do all this and all that kind of stuff. See, here's the part. That's the part of the game that people don't like. Everybody loves the fact when their team is winning, but they don't want to see how the sausage is made behind the scenes.
Right. Yeah. Because why do I need to go to school now? If now you are paying me to represent your brand on Saturdays and work hard every day in between. Why do I need the academic part of it?
Well, now here's what I would do as a business owner. I would say, well, John, yeah, you're right. But just like in order to get paid, you got to do what? You got to go to work. School, being eligible, that's part of work. So you got to do that to receive this. That's how they'll stick them there. But I feel you. It's
at the beginning. Yeah, at the beginning it'll be like that. But we'll see.
At the beginning. Yeah, at the beginning. At the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do have. Well, there's someone else with a question talking about Juju Lewis. Juju Lewis, everybody knows who he committed to. Coming to Colorado after a long. I'm not even going to talk about that recruitment. This dude said, I believe Prime also needs to go after. Talking about Keelan Russell from Duncanville. I believe he may have the most upside. He can go after him, Jared. I'm gonna answer this for John. I'm gonna let John go ahead, but Keelan is pretty locked in with Alabama.
Yeah, and look, these, if we're talking about these dominoes, imagine these elite quarterbacks, and Juju Lewis he's been on our radar since 8th grade. So there is a team around him, and they're very calculated. So yeah, a lot of what has happened already with Colorado is to ensure not only that it's like what we talked about, not only that he's going to be the only QB brought in, he's going to get the keys to that offense.
Oh yeah,
the picture,
very soon, right? Like it's
the picture says it all,
right? I mean, it's that's the NIL deal. It's not hey, to be on this roster. No. It's to be the guy day one of the depth chart release or whatever you want to call it, and we're seeing that elsewhere, right? Michigan, like you said, with Bryce Underwood, there's going to be a lot of schools trotting out true freshmen day one, game one next year. And that's a part of, why all these QB dominoes went crazy over the last few weeks.
And you heard Prime, he said, if we bring you in as a freshman, we expect you to play. That's what I had the unfortunate pleasure to watch him Juju play his first high school football game as a freshman against my old high school, my old combined high school now.
Right.
Yeah. He dropped about 450. It was not close. It was not close.
Well, he didn't look that great against my high school. Which by the way, shout out to Parker High School, who was going to be representing.
They're still rolling.
Hey man, we gonna represent the city Friday night, John. State championship game.
Got
First
it
time
tough.
since I think the 80s or something, 70s, 80s. But I will not be able to be in attendance because you know how you make plans with your wife like 2 months prior to, and it all just happened to fall on that same day. I know Renard knows way too well. So I'll be in a tuxedo on Friday night while my high school is playing the state champ. But I will have my phone.
I will keep you updated, sir.
No, you won't. You won't have to. You won't have to. I'll be tuned in.
That'll be an interesting signing ceremony tomorrow too at Parker.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be quiet about that. I'm not allowed to talk about that.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you're allowed. You're allowed.
You allowed. I'm allowed, but I'm not gonna say anything. I'm like John. I'm not gonna name any names. I'm just gonna be quiet. I'm just gonna say whatever. It's gonna be an interesting day tomorrow.
I believe it's 10 local time. If anybody's curious.
Yeah, it's we just talked about them offers being made. Yeah. I'm gonna be anyway, but yeah, we're looking forward to Sunday, man. But we really appreciate your coverage.
Oh yeah,
and everything that you do. I know you're not on here as much because I know you have family, you have recruiting. I feel like you everywhere. Every time I turn around, you're somewhere different. And but we really appreciate you always coming on and always talking with us about everything that's going on in high school recruiting and stuff like that. Hopefully we'll get maybe one day we'll get an in-person place where, where we're all going to a studio, we can really sit down, have a real conversation about it all.
We got the flu John out. We got the flu.
Let's do it. I'll be up in Bama. I'll be in Mobile next week. Okay. Alabama, Mississippi All-Star Week. Yep.
Oh yeah.
Actually, Mobile is not a bad spot because we got some places we can get cabin at. We can probably record in there. So we're good. We could that if that works for you, not maybe coming up, but in the future, we can make that happen.
Sounds good to me.
Well, I'm sure he'll be around. I'm sure he'll be around for some Birmingham camps or in the area for Alabama. John is an Alabama boy at heart because he's always.
I miss it, man. I miss it.
That's just how it goes. So I expect some more craziness tomorrow. And does it help you or does it go against you the fact that so many kids signing early?
I think it helps in that, like you said, this is the real signing day. Mm-hmm. There's a decompression after tomorrow, but before tomorrow, it's a lot because and with NIL, man, it's just there are no locks anymore. Nope. There's no number one player in Alabama is going to pick between Alabama and Auburn every year, maybe a Clemson, maybe a Georgia every few years, but that's it. Those days are all gone. So because of that, the preparation for signing day is tougher because there's more unknown. Even with a kid down to two schools that it's these two schools, it really can go back and forth at the last second. So a lot more pre-writes that will never be published, but that's part of the gig.
It's so much behind the scenes. You get the internet rumors from a lot of people, but the people that's really in the know that don't believe everything you read or stuff like that. But when you really are connected to some people, you start seeing really they offered him this much at the last minute. It's like, okay, you got it, and then you can't say it all. You just have to just keep it to yourself or keep it in your small circle and just move on and just let the world find out when they find out. So
yeah,
we get it. But
should be fun, fellas, for sure.
But we don't want to hold you up, man, because we know that you got to get up early tomorrow. Hell, it might start at midnight the way things are going now. You just never know. But we appreciate you coming on, man. We're gonna have you back again. When things quote unquote slow down, because they never slow down in the recruiting world. But when it slow down just a little bit, and have some more conversation. You never know. Like during the playoffs, we can just actually talk football or whatever. We just appreciate you always coming on, man, and being with us. So
definitely
appreciate it, guys. Y'all be good and enjoy tomorrow.
All right, John.
Take care.
Yeah. All right. That was John Garcia, man. National Football Recruiting Analyst for Rivals. He used to be with SI, and now he's back with Rivals again, doing national football recruiting. Man, like it's always good to have those conversations with people that's really truly on the inside, and they help you connect with people and do stuff like that, man. So it's a good thing. It was a good thing, though. But yeah, Dave, I'm gonna say this. I didn't want to say it in front of John.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be some craziness tomorrow because I don't want to put him on the spot because I know he knows way more than what he has to say. What he can say, but it's gonna be some craziness tomorrow, and we'll probably get him back a couple more times, especially after some of this is done, because I know people got questions about their different teams, about whoever, but it's prospect time. And if you notice, they moved the timeline up. This December 4th is an earlier signing day. It's an earlier signing day along with everything else too. It's an earlier. They're trying to shrink the calendar for a lot of things, but you know, even with the portal, they're trying to shrink. They shrinking that from all those days, but it's 24/7, man. It's 365, and the quicker that people understand that college football is a business, it's no longer about my brand. When we're talking about certain things, it's like, what's your bag? Not your brand. What's your bag? So that's just what it is. I guess we need to come back and predict the conference championship game.
Might as well.
On Thursday.
Let me see what I got going. It was tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday. I don't think I got that going on Thursday. Should be good.
Yeah. I said for everyone that enjoy college football, please enjoy tomorrow because, you know, we got to do what we got to do. But sorry we ain't been with y'all in a couple weeks, man. You know, life gets in the way. So life gets in the way sometimes. Like I said, hopefully in 2025 and moving into this season, man, there are some things in the works. And hopefully that upward can continue to keep going.
Absolutely. It absolutely will.
Because I have some, but we'll talk about when the time is right. When the time is right.
Absolutely.
But we've been on here a little bit over an hour, man. We appreciate y'all that always come in. Jared, did you ever get your seasonings? That's what I need to know. I gotta know that he ever get his seasonings, man. For my boy, good sponsor of the show, as you see, bro, on the bottle, Chef Adrian seasoning, man. Y'all can get it for $8. Hit him up on Facebook, Chef Adrian Terry. If you got it, you know what I'm saying. Yes, he said yes, he did. How you like it? He about to let me know. How he like it, man. But y'all already know we have like the OG, we have the mild one, and then we have the hot one. Then you know they're all $8. But you gotta say DSF when you contact him on Facebook with Chef Adrian Terry. that's okay. He said I sent me hold on, Dave. Look, I sent him pics of me cooking smash burgers. Look, man, if y'all still on here, y'all can get them. Y'all get them seasoning now. Y'all gotta get them seasoning, man. But we gonna go ahead and I told you, man, it's gonna get you every single time. We're gonna go ahead and what we're gonna do, we're gonna go ahead and get out of here. We've been on a little bit over an hour. And then what we'll probably just come back Thursday and try to predict the conference championship games. And I'm sure that somebody else or something else, some other stuff will come up.
Mm-hmm. So,
you know, that's just what it is. So Dave is looking for a new coach.
Yes. And by the way, let me not just skip over this. You know, I don't talk about Tallahassee often. I really don't. But I like the familiar hire that we made. By the way, I'm sure, and he is hired in the right space.
Which one are you talking about, Dave?
Oh, OC.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Your partner, your homeboy, your distant cousin. Yeah.
Who?
Don't do that. He got your ring. Don't do that. Don't act like that.
Who? I don't know who you talking.
Gus.
Huh?
Gus
you talking about FSU?
Yeah.
Thought you was talking about.
A&M?
Thought you was talking about A&M.
Oh no. I said that I'm going to talk about Tallahassee, a place that I don't talk about much.
Oh, I thought. Look,
You know.
I was
Oh, no,
in the slack.
Tallahassee. No.
I was in
Normal,
slack mode. Sorry, I was
no.
in
I'm
slack
sorry.
mode.
You're
My
good.
apologies.
Normal Alabama handle business, and now they handle business. Now I think they probably was a year and 2 weeks late.
You know what they needed, right?
What
Needed this seasoning.
they need that dang on season. They would
They
have
need
been
that
got it
season
done.
right there. Like you said, Chef Adrian Terry, man, got his seasoning. As y'all see, we got people that vouch for it. Hey, the OG stay in my house. Now, Just Blaze, that ain't Renault. But that, and then the season. But they all $8, man. I promise you they worth it. And he got another one. I gotta hit him up, man, because he got some sauces. He got some other things that we need to check out for me and you, Dave. So we gonna make it a bigger thing. We're gonna film a whole commercial with it.
Before we go,
What's that?
Alabama A&M coach hire predictions. I got two names that one name I really think is going to be. I got three names.
Can I say one name?
I already know who you're going to say, which is one of my three, but go ahead.
Who I'm finna say?
TK.
No. I'm not gonna put that on my boy. I know
He in my top three.
I ain't gonna put that on my brother. I ain't gonna put that on my brother.
Sam Shade.
That's the name I was gonna say.
That's one of my three. And I'm gonna go on the wild card, and I don't even know he available. I don't know where he at. Cadillac Williams.
I don't know where Cadillac is. That, you know what? Let me find out. I know exactly who to call.
I think we need to dig him up and at least give him an interview.
I need to find out what I need. You know what? I need to find out exactly where Lack is. I know exactly who to contact to get that direct info. Because there was a lot of rumors, but then there was a lot of saying like, yes, he did this, and that they said he turned this down. I'm like, I need to know exactly where Lack is.
Those are my with Sam. I think you get immediate impact day one.
True.
Teddy, you get immediate impact, but Teddy is a long term. He's a long term guy to me. Like he gonna get you there. Give me 1 year, get my feet up on him and learn where I'm at, and we're gonna make some things shake. So those are my top two candidates. If I had to go deeper, which you did not ask me to because we're supposed to be off air right now, would be I have to reach out to McNair. I have to reach out to him.
Yeah, I didn't go deep. That's why I didn't open up the phone line.
I would interview Dooley.
You would?
I'll interview him.
Keyword, you said interview, not hire. Let me move on.
There you go. Come on now. You know how we've been in corporate America too long now.
Oh yeah, I'll give him an interview. Come on.
Yeah, come on. Yeah, I interview him.
Yeah. Zero chances you're gonna get.
I would interview Ed Reed. I say interview. I would
give him an interview.
I would seriously interview Grady Brown.
Okay.
Seriously. For those who don't know about who Grady Brown is on the Pittsburgh Steelers staff that played cornerback at Alabama A&M.
I got one more for you, but I'm gonna let you go.
That's about what I'm at. Where you at?
I got one more. That's just because he's part of something I know. That's KJ Black.
Okay.
Former Prairie View great player. Mm-hmm. Now he's with the Atlanta Falcons in the league, and just so happened to be in you remember the chat?
Mm-hmm.
I tell you, yeah, he's in there. He could. He's coaching with the Falcons right now, but I think
I heard you telling me about him. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I think he'd be pretty good, but I don't know if he's ready to do that yet. We'll see. Okay. Anyway, we just spitball. Had to get Big Bulldog Ty on here to get her list. She's like one of the spokesperson. An old girl from the Hill podcast. She's always an A&M spokesman too.
Yeah, we're supposed to have them on this year too.
You ain't open, especially now.
Well, yeah, we can always do that one. That's an easy one to do.
Yeah. So, but anyway, we'll be back, man. We gave y'all an hour. I hope y'all enjoy everything that's going on. Enjoy signing day tomorrow. Woo. And the games coming up this weekend. And we'll probably see you Thursday.
See you Thursday, man.
But if nothing else, man, we up out this thing, man. For Downside Football, it's Renard Williams. We got David Gardner. We up out this thing, man. Peace.